sucker! What about the gold sucker? I'm not gonna lie. I had a heck of a time putting the stream back together. It's been such a long time for me to do this on the IRWP. For that, I sincerely apologize, but I definitely appreciate you guys sticking with this. It's your boy Sage the Mark. It's Real Wrestling Podcast coming to you live. Wish it was under better circumstances, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Have a little bit more of a serious discussion, but finally got around to watching Double or Nothing this week, and wanted to start off by talking about that. Um, Before we do, go ahead and make sure you hit us up at Real WrestleCast on Twitter. It's Real Wrestling Podcast, all spelled out on the gram. You got the gram? Hit us up on the gram because that's where we at. Need to get some more guests through here, man. I'm slack-a-lacking, man. You guys aren't holding me accountable at all. At all. I hold y'all accountable for that, though. Yeah, man, but Double or Nothing. I will say, man, going into this, I didn't really have any expectations at all. If I'm being frank and honest, I'd probably have stopped watching wrestling for about 4 weeks now. Not so much for a lack of interest. It's just we never really even got into this in the last episode, but we're already 6 to 8 weeks in with this quarantine, and it's hitting your boy hard, a little hard. Um, I know it hits everybody a little hard, but it's different. It's a different way of living right now, and it's just a little bit of an adjustment. So the important thing is that you take care of yourself, and make sure that you don't fall into depression. It's easy to fall into depression when you're limited to doing things that you're normally accustomed to doing. So as always, you guys need someone to talk to. Hit your boy up at Real WrestleCast, because that's where it's at. We're all family here, and it's important that we check up on each other and make sure each other are great and doing well. So um, going into Double or Nothing, like I said, very low expectations going into this, considering that I hadn't watched wrestling in about 4 weeks. But I will say, watching Double or Nothing made me realize why I love wrestling so much. Every match on this card was special in its own way, and you could tell that AEW is doing the best they can to entertain everyone when it comes to wrestling, and it's good to see that people actually have a passion for what they love, and it's not just a job. Um, it's one of the reasons why I've just kind of flocked over to the AEW side. Not taking anything away from the E right now. It's different. I've always been a WCW kind of guy, and it's always AEW's kind of always given me that feel, where it's all about the performers, and it's sink or swim for the performers, and they're constantly trying to reinvent themselves and do something that sticks, and that's exactly what AEW did with Double or Nothing. So um, the first match out was the ladder match for the Casino Royale. Basically, the winner of it gets a title opportunity against the world champ in the future, and it was really good. I will say, right off the bat, when they were cutting the backstage promos, and Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford and my boy coming out with that suit, that white plastered with blood suit, man. Um, that was insane. I've never seen anything like that. I was telling Goose by text, I gotta get me one of those. I need to get me one of those suits because that was Jimmy Havoc in that suit was pretty tight. It was pretty dope. So um, But yeah, I mean, you had Jimmy Havoc going in there, even though he wasn't official, causing trouble. You had Orange Cassidy doing his his stunts, and I liked it, and I did, and Nick Cage, is that name? Brian Cage, yeah, Brian Cage, actually coming out with Taz, that was something special. Like I didn't, I knew that he was signed, but it was just the fact that they held him for this long up until Double or Nothing was pretty awesome. So I was reading some reports that that was kind of the plan, that they were going to hold him off until then, and that they were, well, I won't go into all that. I guess that's not important. You do you. Business is business. But it was good, man, and I love the fact that as strong as he was, um, like he wasn't like a he didn't come in as a Brock Lesnar where he just could not be stopped, right? Even Orange Cassidy was giving him some struggles and some pains, and I absolutely love that. So, kudos to that. Brian Cage, bold move to have him win the Casino Royale. So he may be next in line for a chance at the belt of whoever is the champion. We'll find out at the end of the night here. Next up on the card, I believe it was for the TNT title, and that was actually pretty good. A lot better than I expected. We actually right off the bat, Lance Archer, was coming down the ring, and he brought some jobber out and like totally destroyed him. I was like, what the heck? I like it, man. I dig Lance Archer. I do. Like he's special, man. He's a special big man for sure, man. I think he'd be a great staple with this company, and he's pretty cool. Mike Tyson came out to uh, present the title per se. Title was unfinished, so I know that there were a lot of criticisms coming into Double or Nothing with the title, but with everything going on with the pandemic, they weren't able to finish the belt. At least that's what the story was. But for an unfinished belt, I think it's pretty sweet, and I can tell that they can definitely do a lot of it. I like the fact that the side plates are giving homage to Ted Turner. Actually, the side plates have a image of his mansion, which is pretty cool. So I dig that. I think that that's pretty awesome. This is definitely the TV title. So I know we all asked for the TV title. We wanted our version of the TV title, and the TNT title is the TV title. So I've got no quorums whatsoever about that. I think that's pretty dope. So definitely excited to see where that goes, and it should help bring up the mid carders as well. Um, so that should be good. So, in any event, the match was really well. It told the story that uh, uh, sorry, Cody was just enraged and with all the antics that Jake the Snake and Archer were doing. So it was just like right as soon as the bell rang, Archer hit him with his special, and I'll get acclimated later with the name of it because I can't remember it off the top of my head. But he hit him with that special, which I think is dope, man. It's like the reverse Razor's Edge, and I think that that's pretty dope. So especially for how high it is, that I think that that's that's just pretty insane, that he hits that. But a lot of good wrestling, a lot of good mat wrestling, a lot of power moves, good use of the outside. I love the fact that the crowd is like wrestlers and producers in there, and it makes it feel like it's like 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 you're actually there, like there's actually fan reaction. Got to give kudos to AEW for doing that. It's just from the get go, from the time that this pandemic has started, they've gone over and beyond with trying to entertain us in different fashions. Back with backstage segments of people gambling in the crowds. Just it's just been amazing. Britt Baker's shined as well. During this time as well. So I just with the chancla, the the the, uh, the shoe. beating. I think it was Cody Rhodes he was beating with though. That was pretty tight. So anyhow, but this is a good match. Definitely a good match. And my favorite part of this entire match, probably, it's in the top three of my favorite moments of this night, was the fact that uh, when Archer went out of the ring, big swole man. She out there talking that mess, man. She was all over the place all night. It wasn't just this moment, but this moment was special, man. She was out there trying to fight Archer, and it was awesome. Like I loved it. It was awesome. Kudos. Surprisingly, Cody wins this one. And I know that there was a lot of criticism about, is this Barry Archer or does this um, Cody's booking himself to win kind of thing, and I don't subscribe to any of that, man. It's, to me, that's garbage. I like the fact that Cody won. I think he does a great job of putting over other talent, even if he wins or loses. He does a great job of putting over the other talent, and I think that um, he's really going to give the shine to whoever dethrones him as the champion. So I say let him roll with it. I mean, with the fact that he can't get the world title anyways, this is the next best thing. I think this will be amazing. It also, I think, will start to move other storylines with Shawn Spears and Kenny Omega and Hangman Page. Not saying that they themselves are mid carders, because I don't think so. And I really truly believe that Archer will actually start vying for the world title. Because I honestly, I wouldn't mind having Archer as a world title holder at all. I think that would be legit, especially with Jake the Snake Roberts. I mean, come on. I mean, that's amazing. But when you could have Brian Cage versus Archer, that'd be sick in my opinion. I don't know, but that's me. That's your boy Sage the Mark. That's what I think. Um, but yeah, Tyson was, it wasn't really a factor in the match. It was kind of weird seeing him yawn a bit, but and then seeing him cheer for Archer and then cheer for Cody. But at the end of the day, it's Tyson. We give him a pass for everything he does. He's such instrumental to this world. He's given us such great things of entertainment, good or bad. So the boy gets kudos for me. So definitely look forward to whatever they decide to do with him, which I'll cover a little bit over Dynamite this week and kind of let you guys know if you didn't watch it. So moving forward, we had the women's title match, I believe, came next, and this was Shida Hikaru Shida versus the native beast Nyla Rose. I love this match. To me, this is probably, oh my goodness, from a wrestling perspective, this was probably the best wrestling match of the night. The storytelling was great. I love the fact that Shida came out, and I'm fanboying right now, but she came out as Tifa, which I like it. I mean, I know she's a huge cosplayer, but she came out with the Tifa outfit. I've been saying it for weeks before I went on hiatus that if you're gonna do something with Shida, she's got to have her hair down at all times. It's the only way. I mean, I like it when it's up and then she pulls it down and gets serious, but when she's in a serious dogfight, I like the fact that she has her hair down because that's when her aggressive side comes in. And if she's gonna be 100% aggressive, like the hair's got to come down. And it was just perfect. Like the chemistry between Nyla and Shida was really, really great. A lot of great back and forth, a lot of great spots, a lot of bumps. Kudos to Nyla. Like seriously, I know that she gets a lot of flack, and a lot of that, in my opinion, is kind of not warranted. Hell of a champion, and she'll be champion again. But Shida comes out with the win, with the victory on this one here. And it's good. It's just a good story. I think that I want to see Britt Baker versus Shida for the title. I just do. Britt talks so much mess. it's ridiculous, and I like the fact that she's just like, I'm the best. This is the women's division is under me. Having that type of cockiness going against a baby face, like a true pure baby face, and Shida, I think it's a recipe for gold. Yeah, so unfortunately, she's out for about 3 weeks now. I think she's had like a microscopic injury in her knee. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's the story that we're sticking to. So hopefully, we'll see her at the next pay per view, which I think is Fighter Fest, if I'm not mistaken. I think that one's supposed to be in London, but with everything that's going on and the travel restrictions, that's definitely not going to be happening. So they're probably going to be doing it somewhere stateside. Not sure if they're going to be able to travel or not. Some states, from a quarantine perspective, some states have opened up sporting events. I know Texas is one of them. Um, I think the capacity though is like at 25%. Um, so it's gonna be weird. They'll have to get like small venues. Well, I mean, I'm thinking of WWE at this point, but they'll have to definitely get the smaller venues if they're gonna decide to travel a bit. But it's just gonna be weird because they come to town. If they're only able to see what 7,000 is like the average that they get, like five to 7,000, um, it's just gonna be kind of weird trying to, I don't know, try to get anything lower than that. So, like 2,000, 1,500, something around there. So it'll be interesting to see. Um, Going next, I think the next match was. Oh, congratulations, Sheeta. Um, the next match that we had was, I believe this was the world title match, against, oh my goodness, Brody Lee versus, what is his name? I want to call him Dean Ambrose. Moxley, my bad. I know y'all gonna crucify me for that one. I liked this match. It's a very old school wrestling match. I love the fact that they took it outside the ring. Just good stuff. Moxley is continuously improving his character, and I love the fact that Brody Lee is just like I love the fact that he talks. I love the fact that that he is in more spots, and he's in command of his character. Definitely, they're pulling up the pieces, or bigging up the pieces, to really solidify their heavyweight division, and I think that they're doing a great job, in my opinion. So, Mox wins this one. I think he chokes him out, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he chokes him out. So he didn't really submit. So they still have a storyline to that. Um, but we'll see what comes of that in the future. I think that it's not the last to see of Brody Lee in the title picture. So, and then the match of the entertainment of the night was definitely the Stampede, man. And I didn't know what to expect of this. If I had to sum up what I thought about, like how I would describe this particular match, I would say that it was like, this was like the final deletion. I mean, this is what it is. It was a final deletion inside of a football stadium, the Jaguars football stadium, I believe is where it was, and it was amazing. I absolutely loved it. The start of the match itself was just craziness. Just fighting back and forth, fighting back and forth. Like Jericho and the Inner Circle came out like they were football, like they came out in full football gear, which was pretty crazy. Had numbers and everything like that. The numbers all signified different things. Like Jericho's number signified his dad's hockey number, and Sammy Guevara was the number. I think it was the number or the year he was born. I think it was like 93 or something like that, and it was just crazy. Santana Ortiz, amazing. Hangman Page coming out with on the horse and chasing down Sammy Guevara. That was something that was unexpected, but I absolutely loved it, and this was a feel good match, man. My favorite moment was definitely when Ortiz and Santana were taking it to Matt Hardy at the pool deck, and they kept dunking him underwater, and every time they did, it was acting like there was the Lake of Resurrection, and changed his character. He was broken Matt Hardy one moment, then he was Money Matt, and then he was version 1, and it was just great. And they had the matter of facts that came out as well, and that was that was good, man. It made me feel like this is the reason why I love wrestling. This just brings up my spirits, even though it's in a dark, uh, even though we're facing kind of dark times right now. It's always good to be able to just sit back, relax, and watch some good old fashioned entertainment that is wrestling. So, um, but yeah, that was that. I would say, like, if you haven't had a chance to go see the Stampede, go see it. Um, the Elite One, which I'm not mad at. Shout out to Matt Jackson doing the was it the locomotion, 100 yards of the locomotion, man. That's y'all are insane. Y'all are insane, man. I swear to goodness. Um, so overall, Double or Nothing, absolutely loved it. Thought it was great. Um, I did see Dynamite. Biggest takeaway from Dynamite is I love the fact that they're doing something with Mike Tyson, and I love the fact that Jericho is kind of how do I say, he's we know the reason, the beef between Jericho and Tyson back to the early 2000s, and Degeneration X and all that area when when he turned on Jericho. So I love the fact that they're going to set them up for a feud. And it's just amazing. Just at that moment, you just know Jericho's the greatest, man. He's definitely the GOAT. And just everything he does is amazing. And I will say this every single time. I love the fact that he came back to the network that really launched out his career. Um, and it's just it feels right. It feels right. I think we're just missing one person. Woo! And I'm not talking about Flair either. We see it. I see the little triggers, man. I see this. I saw the splash. I see the face paints, the little subtle references. We know who's coming next. We know who's coming next. He's gonna definitely be like, I don't know who's gonna. He's gonna coach somebody, man. But it'll be good to see the. It's gonna be good to see Sting. I know Sting's coming. I know it is. I know y'all think I'm being a fanboy, but Sting's coming, man. It's gonna be amazing. I'm gonna love it. I'm gonna love it. So, all right. So yeah, that's it. That's it. Other than that, not very much else went on AEW that I could or on Dynamite that I can remember. Sorry I didn't take too much show notes on this one here, but I did want to change the tune of my or of this podcast a little bit here to talk about what's been going on lately. As most of you guys know, earlier in the week, there was a police incident out of Minneapolis, and I'm not gonna repeat what happened and whatnot, but it's just a I don't even have words to describe it, man. But it's definitely been the worst thing that I've ever seen collectively, I guess. When it comes to um, with law enforcement and the mistreatment of African Americans or minorities of color, just in general. Um, we really got to take a step back, as a society, and we got to stop hating each other. I mean, we really do. It's getting to the point where I just, it's getting to the point where it's just ridiculous. I get that the law enforcement has a very tough job. I do, and I've been thankful to not be in that same situation. Um, I've been profiled, but not to the degree of what my other brethren have experienced, and I don't wish that experience on anyone at all. I feel like a lot of that has to do, maybe it is internal racism, maybe it's just us being afraid of each other, but it's terrible. Now we got people going to the streets, you know, um, protesting, which I think protesting is a great thing. We should be doing it as long as it's peaceful. But now we're at the point where we're tearing up our neighborhoods and small businesses and conspiracies aside on who's been integrated into these groups and whatnot. The fundamental issue is that we got to start treating each other better. None of us are above the law at all, and we gotta remember that every day, especially if we're in a professional capacity. Um, we've got to do better. It just I'm tired of hearing black versus white, white versus black, blue versus everyone. Um, it's not the way the world's supposed to work, especially here in America. We're not supposed to hate each other. We're not, and it's okay to have differences. It really is. It's okay to have differences in religion, and it's okay to have differences in our NFL teams or baseball teams or soccer teams or whatever. It's not okay to hate each other because of the way that we look, and it's not okay to be afraid of each other just because of the color of our skin. Um, and until we figure that out, it's never going to get better. And we can't continue to look to leadership for change. It's not coming from them. They don't have the stake that we have as individuals. We have to, as individuals, want better for ourselves. Um, from a law enforcement perspective, if you know that there's a dirty cop, or you know that there is someone that's doing something that's wrong in your presence, you've got a duty. When you swore that oath, you have a duty to call it out for what it is. This isn't the 60s and the 70s where there's, the code of brotherhood kind of thing. That kind of shit just alienates us all. You've got a duty. That badge comes with an honor. And if you're not willing to stand up when your brother is doing wrong, then you shouldn't be wearing the badge either. I mean, that's my personal opinion. You shouldn't be wearing the badge. You're just as bad as the people who are actually perpetrating these injustices. I will say that, in the last couple of days, I've seen videos of YouTube and Twitter and of officers coming out and denouncing these actions, and that's what's needed. And I greatly appreciate those officers that do that. But we've got to do it more. We've got to do it more. It's the only way that's going to be. It's the only way it's going to get better. Either that or some serious reform. One of my brothers was telling me that, he thinks that if shit like this pops off, the whole squad should just be fired and bring in new people. And I was sitting there thinking about it. It's not. I mean, is it the right thing to do? I don't know. But the way that we're doing it now is not working. So maybe that is something that we need to consider. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a fan of people losing their jobs when it's not needed. But if you're not willing to take that oath seriously, and it's not about protecting your other folk that are in with the badge. That's not your duty. Your duty is to serve and protect your community. And you can't serve and protect your community while staying silent when you see injustices. It doesn't work that way. And I'll get flack for saying this too. As a black man, I know that I need to keep my cool and my temperature down when it comes to law enforcement. I get that they got a hard job, and I'm not trying to make their job more difficult. And for the most part, I've done that with my interactions with them. But even if I was out of line, your job in law enforcement is to be better. That is. After every stop, you guys call 2 people to come to back you up. Like, that's pretty much protocol, is to have someone there with you while that's happening. How can you be scared to have 2 or 4 people there for one person, for one black person. You can't be scared. You can't. And I refuse to believe that you're scared. You know what I mean? Someone's pleading for their life. You got to be better. The job demands better. The community demands better. This world is filled with enough hate. You got to lead by example. That shield means that you have to lead by example. No more people of color being killed in these senseless crimes. Can't happen. And they're crimes. They're crimes. Excessive force, that's a crime. Whether or not they want to convict in court or not, that's a crime. It's a crime against humanity. Beating up cops, that's a crime too. Shouldn't happen. I saw that shit happening in the I was up till 2 in the morning watching that. Watching clips of people attacking officers. That shit shouldn't fly either. Just as bad. We're trying to calm the situation down. Can't calm the situation down if we're constantly fighting back and forth with each other. We gotta listen to each other. Gotta do better. We just do. We gotta do better, guys. I know this is a wrestling podcast, but I had to say my piece, guys. I did. It's heartbreaking to see this. It's heartbreaking to know that there's so much hurt out there, and it doesn't need to be that way. So, with that being said, I'll have a more constructive podcast for you guys next week. But I definitely appreciate you guys, tuning in. I'm not gonna plug anything this week. It's not the time. This week it's not the time. So, I will say just love one another, respect one another. If you're gonna protest in peace. Don't fall for any traps. Whether side you're on, just don't fall for the traps, please. It's not worth it. Your life is more important. All right, guys, y'all take it easy. Most of all, y'all keep it real.